Hello everybody, Tom Morley here from FOSS 365, where we use free open source software 365 days a year. I've got some really exciting news today. Most of you know that I moved to a different operating system and I'm using Ubuntu Studio 19.4. Now, one of the somewhat depressing things about moving to the new OS is that Natron, the current version 2.3.14, just wouldn't work with Ubuntu Studio 19.4. I knew that there were some issues with it, and basically the development for Natron had slowed to a crawl, so I didn't know when it was going to be fixed. But I've got some good news. It's working in 19.4. And the person that made that happen, so I'll put links down in the description on how to get to this Linux hotfix. And I'm going to go through the whole process of installing Natron and running the hotfix as well, so that you know the entire process to get it up and running on any Ubuntu 19.4 flavor. All right, so let's go to Natron and let's download the latest version of Linux, which is right here. Again, I'll have links to all these in the description below. I'm going to download the Natron installer 2.3.14. Click on that. I'm going to save that. And while that's downloading, I'm going to come over here to the hotfix. Again, the description's down below for the hotfix for 2.3.14. And it tells me I have to download the hotfix. So let's go ahead and download that too. There's a couple of different ways that we can go about this. I'm going to show you how to do it using all the GUIs in Linux if you don't want to be in the command prompt all the time, or the shell. So one of the ways to do it is to right click here on the GitHub and do a save link as, and I want to save that. It's going to be a .sh file, so we're going to save that in my downloads folder as well. So now I have both if I go to my downloads folder, I have both the Natron installer itself and the hotfix. So let's install Natron first. Of course, we have to extract it first. So I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to extract it here. There you go. Extract here, which is going to give me the file to run. So let's go ahead and run the install file. That's this one here. Let's go through the process here. I've got in my home directory a folder called apps where I put all of my applications. So I'm going to change the default file location for Natron to install it. But you can leave the default that you see here. It's not a problem. You'll just have to remember where you installed it, because that's going to be important later. So I'm going to click Browse. I'm going to go to Tom, which is my home directory, apps, and I'm going to create a Natron folder in here. So Natron, again, you can just use the default location, that's fine. I just like putting all mine in my apps folder. So I'm going to choose that location. I'm going to click next. I'm going to install everything, including the gmic plugins and everything else. So I'm going to click next. I'm going to accept the license after reading it. I've already read it. Click next, and I'm going to install. Click show details. So what will happen is, if you install Natron on 19.4, sometimes it will run, but most of the time it will start. You'll get the startup placard, and then it'll just shut down. It'll crash. I have had cases where it will run, but you're missing nodes like the text nodes, a texture node, as well as some others. So hopefully this, well, not hopefully, I know it works, I've already done it. This fix takes care of all that. So after you've run the installation, don't click run now, because if you run it, it's just not going to work. So let's just go ahead and close that setup placard, and let's talk about what we need to do for the hotfix, right? Let's go back to the website and see what they said. In here, Ollie says to download the file. Okay, we already downloaded it. We need to make it executable. Okay, so the next thing is to make it executable. There's two ways of doing that. I downloaded it by right-clicking here, but another way to download it is you could have opened up a command window and shell prompt and use this code here. You could also use this code here in your shell prompt to change the file into an executable, but I'm going to show you how to do it in the file manager. So I'm going to open up my file manager where this file is, and all I'm going to do is right click on it, and then I'm going to go down to properties and left click on it. That brings up this placard. Then you can go to permissions and you'll see it's not allowed to run as a program. Just check mark that so that it is allowed to run as a program, and go ahead and close it. So now that's ready to run. The next step you have to do in a shell environment. So we need to open up a shell, and you can do that by just right clicking in here, open a terminal window, and when you do, that terminal window is already at this location. So that's going to be beneficial in a second here. So we'll go back here, and it looks like this last line of code here is actually going to run the hotfix and patch the original 2.3.14 Natron files. So I need to, it says here, make it executable, which we've already done. And then we need to run that script with the path to our Natron installation folder as an argument. So what they're saying is that this section right here, that needs to be the full path to where your Natron 2 files are. So we'll go ahead and copy this whole thing here, highlight it, right click, copy. Now we're going to go back to that terminal window, and we're going to right click and paste it in here. Now we can't run it as is because Natron 2 is not the file location. We need to actually find out where the Natron 2 files are on my system. So we're going to look at the file manager, and there it is. This is the download. Remember, I told you I put it in my home directory in my apps, so I'm going to go to my home directory in the apps folder, and there's that Natron 2 folder. So now I've got the full path right here that I need. I can copy it, go back to my terminal. I can delete. Let me widen this out a little bit so that we can see what's going on. I can delete the Natron 2, and then I can do Control V to paste. No, it won't let me do that, but I can right click and paste in here, and there you go. So I'm going to run that script with my home directory listed right here. I'm going to press the button. It's going to patch all of the files it needs to for 19.4, and then it should run okay. So let's open it up and see. Like I said before, it wouldn't run at all. So what we need to do is just go to my graphic design folder, because I know that's where it installs it. Click on Natron 2, and we'll see it start up here. And my placard is in the middle of the screen. You can't really see it, but the placard is popping up, and Natron popped up without an issue. So one way to verify that things worked is to press the tab key and check to see if the text nodes are in there, and they are. It's right there. So, you know, it works. All I can say is thank you very much to Ole and anybody else that helped Ole come up with this fix, so that now I can run Natron on my Ubuntu Studio 19.4. All right, so install Natron on your new OS and have some fun. We'll see you in the next one.